quick technical audit of the evacool.com.au website. And we're going to look at some of the challenges that this website faces in terms of ranking at high positions on Google search engine. So let's first have a look at the speed. I'm just going to open up the browser tab to run an audit on the entire website. This audit looks at a range of things, including the speed, the accessibility, the SEO, and a lot of other things that that will help us determine what are the technical challenges that we may need to address in terms of ranking this site higher in organic positions. This report will output a nice report. The audit will output a nice report, which will give us all the technical details. So this report seems almost done. So let's quickly explore what this report actually means. So the first one is obviously the performance. The performance directly deals with the speed of the site. And as you can see, this square boxes, the rectangle boxes at the bottom, Google shows you second by second how the loading of the website happens in the browser. And you can see that towards probably the fifth, the fifth or the sixth second, the paint actually begins to appear. So speed index, which is the index basically around how much time does it take to load the website visually, is about 14.1 seconds, as you can see here. But the first meaningful paint, which is when it begins to paint the entire site, is at 3.7 seconds. Now, for a non-technical person, what it means, it takes 14.1 seconds normally to fully load the home page on a 100 Mbits connections. Now, in addition to this, the page actually consists of some interactive things. So like that hover element over there, the drop-down menu, these are called interactive elements. And the time to fully load all these interactive elements is 37.3 seconds, as you can see there. So obviously, Google also makes suggestions as to what other things you can improve. So, like properly size your images, remove some CSS. CSS is basically how the styling of the page appears, differ off-screen images. So all it's saying is don't load images that are at the bottom or defer them until, the top parts have loaded. It's saying eliminate some render blocking resources. So this is generally JavaScript. JavaScripts are used to create interactiveness on your website, and so on. So there's a lot of suggestions that that Google makes in this report, but overall it gives you a performance score of 22 out of 100. And obviously this is obviously because of the way the site is built or the technology that is being used to host the site. In addition to this, so that's obviously addressing the speed. In addition to this, there are some other things we can look at from an SEO perspective. So for an example, we can see that the title of the page is EvaCool Coolers, the leading brand of portable icebox coolers Australia-wide. Now, there's obviously some challenges with this title, but we'll come back to that in a moment. What you can see is that the page also consists of meta keywords, and these are some of the keywords that that have been put into the system that are indicative to Google what you want to rank the website for. The problem is that Google discarded using meta keywords since almost about 2010, and that means Google completely ignores what's in the meta keywords column. By injecting keywords into this column, not only are we increasing the total size of the page, but we are also telling Google that we haven't kept up to date in terms of our SEO knowledge or what we need to be doing in terms of our organic rankings. Headers is how the website is placed. So as you can see, fridges, freezers, you can see that's a header 3, ice boxes, which is a header 3 again. What we're looking for is the H1 tag. So that's H1, which is this one here. H1 is basically a way of telling Google what this page is about. And as you can see, this page actually consists of two H1 tags. So one, which is this leading in portable coolers. And there's another H1 tag here, which seems to be an empty space. Again, Google's crawlers, they are not technical in nature. They don't understand, they are technical in nature. They don't visually see the page. They crawl the page, they find out these elements and make an assessment on what this page is about. So as you can see, there's multiple H1 tags, one being the space, which obviously confuses Google as to what this page may be about. So that's obviously not a best practice. And obviously fixing that would alter not only the architecture of the website, but also alter the composition of the page and force Google to believe that this page might be actually about portable coolers. In addition to this, if you look at images, there's 9 images without an alt title. So alt title or alt tags are basically a way of telling Google what the image is about. It's a text string that tells Google what that image is about. So for an example, this image on the background, which is the blue boxes, tells Google that that image is, if that image was titled properly, will tell Google that that image was about ice boxes. In addition to this, Google also uses certain language to identify whether this is a business or it's an e-commerce or what does this website actually do. And the language used to represent what this business is all about is called schema. There was no schema detected on the page, so obviously you would want to input some schema into the page so that Google can review it, Google can analyze it, and Google can then accordingly attribute certain characteristics to your website. So for an example, you can say that EvaCool is a business, which is a type of schema. In Australia, and obviously you can do the same thing for the products. So if you have coolers, then you can obviously say that this is a product with the attribute title and the price, and the description of the product. And this will obviously show up differently in Google search results too. So it's pretty critical that you have schema listings on most of your website to help Google better understand your site. Now, in addition to that, there's some other things like if I want to see how Google sees your site or how Google sees your how Google's indexed your site, I can do a Google search for all the pages of your site, and this basically tells me these are all the pages that Google's obviously indexed for your site. As you can see, they all belong to EvaCool. If I head over to page number 9 or possibly even 12, I can see that Google's indexing pages with similar titles and possibly even descriptions. So you can see this page here, which is a store locator EvaCool, which belongs to the product 650, which is the BF, which is Darwin, for an example, or this was one here. But at the same time, there's another page here with the exact same title, which is store locator EvaCool. And going to next pages again, there's other pages that have exactly the same title, as you can see here, here. And again, so that means that Google's thinking that most of these pages are duplicate content because they all possibly lead to the same page, except a little bit of change of the content at the top. So obviously you don't want Google to crawl some of these pages because you have a fixed number of credits with Google in terms of how many pages it will crawl. And if you're not abiding by or not usefully utilizing those credits, Google will then start devaluing your site on search results. So that's a general overview of EvaCool website and some of the technical challenges or SEO challenges that it hasn't implemented. And I think that there's a lot many more things that we can do in terms of ranking the site high for organic searches and obviously beating the competition.